Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike, Michelle, for having this very unique and certainly a pleasant evening out here. As you know, District 7, we kind of cut this neighborhood up, and that may change in the next time that we rearrange districts, and that's scheduled for, well, that's after the 2020 census, so it would be 2021 or so that you may notice some difference here. But I'm certainly pleased to have you in District 7. District 7 starts kind of like at Eddie V's at the southernmost end and comes out here through the west side. I've got the Cultural District and Crestwood Crestline, and then this is probably the furthest west that I go, other than down on Camp Bowie, and then spreads out north through the Lake Country area around Lake Worth. It's the largest geographic area. Keeps going. Bonds Ranch Road, Blue Mound Road, into the Alliance Corridor, and then all the way into Denton County. Believe it or not, Fort Worth is part of Denton County. And Texas Motor Speedway coming back down the east side of I-35 to Golden Triangle. Large geographic area. Difference of people. This is kind of certainly a mature neighborhood. This neighborhood, Monticello, Crestwood, those types, very mature. A little further out you go, the Lake Country area, about 35 years old, things like that. And then you get up north and you have some very new neighborhoods, very new. New homes, new roads, new streets. Not enough of them, but there are some. And the difference is that we've got to be, I have to be attuned to the needs of all of those in a different way. So let's back up just a second. Let me tell you just a bit about me. Lived in Fort Worth since 1987. Cindy and I, my first wife over here, we came to Fort Worth. That passed you by there? She is my first wife. We came here in 1987 from active duty Army in Europe. I spent 33 years in the military and retired as a colonel. And I've been at the Health Science Center with Mike for a number of years and retired from there in 2011. And I've been a city councilman full time since 2011. And I do mean full time, believe it or not. And I kid you not, I spend 50, 60 hours a week doing this job. It's that much time involved. It's that much effort and that much demand, if you will. And then the mayor and council made me mayor pro tem, which means that I'm now in charge of the ribbon cutting at the 7-Elevens. Sweet frogs. And the mayor's out of town this week. Today. She's in Louisville, Kentucky, addressing the National Council of Mayors. And so I've been doing some things today that filling in for her. I love being a councilman. I enjoy it. What do I enjoy most? It's not those blank council meetings. And if you take a look at last night's, if you're having trouble sleeping tonight, flip on last night's meeting. You'll see a real Donnybrook in there. But I enjoy the interaction. I enjoy solving problems for you on a one-on-one basis. I enjoy the great aides that I have, and my aide is Sammy Roop, and we solve these problems every day on a one-on-one basis. That's what I enjoy. That's what that makes me salivate over this job. It is just biographical once more. Cindy and I have 3 kids and 11, soon to be 12 grandchildren. Don't get me started. I don't know why these kids are propagating all these other kids, but we're having a hell of a time doing it, I'll tell you. There were some things that we wanted covered, and I don't want to be redundant because the answers that Zim gave and Dr. Bird gave are pretty much on target. Wait a minute, there's one other thing I want to mention. Our NPO in this area is dynamite. I don't know if you take advantage of her, but she is dynamite. She's got a great reputation in town. She's got a great reputation as an NPO, you're very fortunate to have her. Make use of her. She's great. There's a couple of things that I might add. And let's talk about your neighborhood specifically. White Settlement Road coming. Once we get those housing develops over there on the other side of the river, that White Settlement Road will be redone. Particularly, it's going to be slower. It's really going to be slow. We're going to put some devices in there to slow that traffic down on White Settlement. Particularly because of development in there, that they want the businesses and things, and the number of people coming in and out of there are going to be higher. So we're going to slow White Settlement down, and we know that to happen. But that's going to happen immediately after, Crystal Springs and all that stuff comes in, and all that development up there as we continue to proceed on that. But you'll see some changes and some directional workarounds on White Settlement. Joint Reserve Base. You know that is a unique engine for the city of Fort Worth. Somewhere in the neighborhood of $1.3 billion a year that generates for the city of Fort Worth because of Lockheed Martin, Joint Reserve Base, etc. So we have a overlay, a developmental overlay, if you will, on that area. So if anything happens in that runway pattern, it comes up to not only the city of Fort Worth, but the other 7 or 8 municipalities around Joint Reserve Base, White Settlement, Sampson Park, River Oaks, all of them. We all get together, and I have the honor of chairing that committee and have for a number of years. But we're chairing that committee to make sure, I'm chairing that committee, but the group is there to make sure that the development around in that area, around the Joint Reserve Base, is maintained to be safe for. We're not going to put a hospital or a grade school at the end of the runway. That's the point. So all the houses that come under scrutiny, the housing developments, like the one just off White Settlement Road, the new one that sits back on the that'd be kind of the northeast side of the city there, northeast side of the street. That's all going in, but that's out of the runway traffic, but it's within a certain decibel traffic, so they have to mitigate that with some deafening things in their house, so we don't have a bunch of people talking about it. But once again, that sound of freedom is for all of us. Am I close? I'm close. Okay. Mike, why don't you flip me, and I'll answer questions, whatever you need.
Okay. And the other candidate for District 7 is Michael Matos.
All right. How's everybody doing this evening? Oh, right on. As Dr. Smith mentioned, my name is Michael Matos, or Michael Matos, depending on where you are. First and foremost, I am running against Dennis in District 7. The beauty of this thing is you get all this great culture, great understanding, great minds talking together, and that's when iron sharpens iron. We can discuss many issues with each other, understand what issues we have across neighborhoods, because all the issues across District 7 are basically plaguing all of Fort Worth, and this is how together, if I understand what things happen down here, further up north, as Dennis mentioned, our district goes all the way up from Texas Motor Speedway, and it curves its way all the way down around here. So if you can imagine looking at the map, you're scratching your head, wow, which doors can I knock on, which doors I cannot knock on. So it's something there you gotta take into consideration. But a little bit about myself. 25 years old. I have my degree in undergrad for communications from Ottawa University, and I do have my master's degree in analytics and research. So I am a numbers guy. I do look at these studies. I understand qualitative analysis, quantitative analysis. I'm very on the point. I like to consider myself a pit bull. I am sharp, I am young, I am hungry, and most importantly, I'm ready to represent those in District 7 and represent everybody else as well in Fort Worth. So a couple of the key issues specifically we're talking about would be the traffic safety issue. I believe everybody across the district would agree that traffic issues need to be addressed. But more importantly, I think a key topic point in District 7 would be discussing the flooding issues over in Arlington Heights. It is a reoccurring theme that has occurred, but now it's time to actually take some real action. And again, no more of looking at these studies. get somebody like me, an analyst who understands what's going on, get the proper people involved, get the engineers involved, and understanding what is the proper way to go about it. And of course, one of the other key issues is increasing the police presence in District 7, but more importantly, it sounds like all of Fort Worth needs it as well. So again, those are some of the issues that we're specifically looking at when you're talking about in District 7 in Fort Worth. Let's see what else. Well, sorry about that. So anyways, so the thing that we want to specifically address and look at as a team is, more importantly, look at how District 7 affects other districts. One thing about me is I am not bought out by special interests. I don't really care. I'm more for the citizens. That's something for me. I want to represent you. I want to understand your issues. Every time I talk to anybody I've run into, everybody else wants to know, Michael, what can you do for me? What can you do? I said, well, let's sit down, write it down. If you know me, if you see me, I'm always writing everything down, because that's how I recollect everything. I have gone through, I think, 5 or 6 journals collecting names, emails, you name it, everything there, because again, I'm a pack rat. But most importantly, I'm here to represent you. So a couple things here, that the questions here was how we address the police issues and the response time. I think it's very simple. I think we must look at saturating the streets with police officers. We must find the way to get the best of the best. Yes, we do have the new academy coming in, but more importantly, we have to continue those efforts and looking at how else can we improve. More importantly, if you look at the fire safety issue, where I live over in Barcy Ranch, the first responders for the firefighters is white settlement. So that's a key issue looking at the 2018 bond package, depending if possible a new fire station could be in the works. So again, I am a numbers guy. I will look at budgets, and most importantly, I will make sure that your voice is heard over in District 7. So again, some of the questions will be brought up here, so I look forward to meeting every single one of you guys, and I look forward to just discussing everything else on top. And I will say one thing though, how did you guys manage to get Dennis up here? Man, this is our first forum together. It's the only forum. So, absolutely. So I think hopefully by the end of the night, Dennis and I can get together and get a date there, so we can set up at least one more forum.
I'm not dating,
So.
I'm married.
Well, I mean, if I can have at least 1 or 2 dates with him, that's all I need. So, hey, I'm gonna need some help with that. So that's all I have to say. So this is great. What's that?
You say you're not a beer drinker.
Oh, well, I work for the E&J Gallo Winery, so you let me know. We can get something set up. So absolutely, y'all let me know. So thanks so much.
All right.